Here is a deeply researched, narrative-driven historical account tailored for an American audience. It focuses on one of the most incredible, forgotten chapters of U.S. history, the Great Camel Experiment. The Desert Ghosts of the American West. Imagine for a moment standing on a sun-scorched ridge in the Texas Panhandle in the year 1857. You expect to see the silhouettes of horses or the slow trudge of oxen. Instead, cresting the horizon is a line of towering, humped beasts, their silhouettes swaying against the heat haze like a mirage from the Sahara. This wasn't a circus, and it wasn't a dream. This was the United States Camel Corps, one of the most ambitious, logical, and ultimately doomed experiments in American military history. The Visionary and the Vacuum. In the mid-19th century, the United States faced a geographic crisis. The Mexican-American War had just added vast swaths of territory, New Mexico, Arizona, California, to the Union. This was a land of manifest destiny, but it was also a land of death. The great American desert was an impassable wall of sand and cactus that killed horses and mules by the thousands. Enter Jefferson Davis. Before he was the President of the Confederacy, he was the U.S. Secretary of War, and he was a man of cold, hard logic. He looked at the American Southwest and saw a landscape that mirrored the Levant and North Africa. If the Bedouins could conquer the desert, why couldn't the U.S. Army? In 1855, after years of lobbying, Congress finally blinked. Rex allocating $30,000 for the purchase and importation of camels and dromedaries. The task fell to the supply. The voyage took Major Henry C. Wayne and Lieutenant David Dixon Porter, who would later become a Civil War admiral. They set sail on the USS Supply, traveling to Tunisia, Egypt, and the Ottoman Empire. They didn't just buy animals, they studied them. They learned that a camel could carry 600 to 800 pounds, travel 30 miles a day without water, and eat the prickly pear cactus that would tear a mule's mouth to shreds. In May 1856, the first ship of the desert arrived at Indianola, Texas. A crowd of stunned locals watched as 34 camels, Bactrians with 2 humps and dromedaries with 1, stepped onto American soil. Along with them came a legendary figure, Haji Ali, a Greek-Syrian convert to Islam, whom the American soldiers couldn't pronounce, so they simply called him Haji Ali. The Test of Fire. The real test began in 1857. Edward Fitzgerald Beale, a rugged explorer, was ordered to survey a wagon road from Fort Defiance, New Mexico, to the Colorado River. He took 25 camels with him. The results were staggering. While the mules collapsed from exhaustion and thirst, the camels thrived. They climbed over jagged volcanic rock that destroyed horse hooves. They swam across the icy Colorado River with ease, and they found water where the scouts saw only dry sand. Beale became an enthusiast, writing to the Secretary of War, "It is certainly much more agreeable to ride these animals than a mule, and they are more economical." The downfall of a dream. If the experiment was a success, why don't we see camels on the Nevada state flag today? The answer is a mix of timing, culture, and blood. The mule lobby. The American soldier was used to the horse and the mule. Camels are temperamental, they smell pungent to the uninitiated, and most importantly, they terrified the Army's horses. A horse catching the scent of a camel for the first time would often bolt in a blind panic. The Civil War. Just as the Camel Corps was proving its worth, the United States tore itself apart. Jefferson Davis, the program's biggest champion, became the enemy. The camels were stationed at Camp Verde, Texas, which fell into Confederate hands. The Iron Horse.
By the time the war ended in 1865, the Transcontinental Railroad was being hammered into the earth. The iron horse rendered the biological ship of the desert obsolete overnight. The ghostly legacy. The Army eventually auctioned off the survivors. Some went to circuses, others to mining camps in British Columbia, but many were simply turned loose into the wild. For decades afterward, sightings of wild camels became a staple of Western folklore. Miners in Arizona told stories of a red ghost, a massive red camel seen with a skeletal rider strapped to its back. The last original Army camel, Topsy, died in a Los Angeles zoo in 1934. Yet some veterans of the Southwest swear that even today, in the deepest, most unreachable canyons of the Sonoran Desert, the descendants of Jefferson Davis's experiment still roam, living ghosts of a future that never was.